Alright guys, so sorry about this for a late live weather update tonight. Obviously, I was really busy working on my vehicle this afternoon and evening. Just found out a couple things, looking at some forecast models here as we're coming into the final hours of winter weather warnings and advisories and other things being updated currently. So here's our updated current map here of winter weather advisories in the purple, winter storm warnings in the pink, winter storm watches in the blue, and then we have ice storm warnings here across these counties. They're not showing up here, but there's ice storm warnings in these counties as well across portions of Missouri. But this is your current map. What I'm very concerned about is what I'm seeing here currently with the forecast models here across some things I'm seeing here. Let's see here. Let's get the map on here. There we go. So one thing I'm starting to see is what I'm really thinking here is that the GFS, the NDFD forecast model, and the European model are all in good agreement. I think the other models here could be possible outliers. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about here. And Southern Illinois is going to be paralyzed here. Is going to be paralyzed at this point, right? Southern Illinois is going to be completely paralyzed after this ice storm, to be honest, because the system's moving west to east, meaning that it's not going to be tampered with warm air behind or in front of the system. The cool air is going to keep flooding in from the backside of the system while freezing rain already went over that area. And if there isn't any treated roadways, or even if they're treated and they're still getting partially ice, everything's going to freeze over when this much cooler air from the backside of the system finally arrives during the day on Sunday into Monday. But here's the GFS model here currently. Right, that's what the current for. Yeah, GFS model. So here's the GFS model. Total ice accumulation here being shown on the GFS. So we're going to do this. We're going to go here. We're going to type in the GFS as well, but we're going to zoom in here on this one. We're going to go to city. We're going to go to St. Louis. Yeah, I'm a few minutes early. So here's St. Louis, right? This is just a zoom in of the ice potential in the GFS model. So this is like the bigger picture here, showing the ice potential. Don't show too much of the accumulation. Just put comparison between the next two models I show you. You're gonna see the comparison between where it sets up and how much accumulation, right? So you can see right here is a zoom up closer location, south side of the metro of St. Louis, Missouri. Obviously, if you go towards Mount Vernon into Carbondale area, you're just gonna get nailed there with a ton of precipitation freezing over to freezing rain, obviously, right? Now, here's what the issue we're having here. So let's back this up here about, let's say 18Z is the peak time. We're starting to get some heavy precipitation and freezing rain there. 18Z Sunday. Now we go back over here to 18Z. We're gonna line that up with the current wind gusts and then also with the current temperature, right? So we're gonna go to, where are we at? 18Z on Sunday. Here's 18Z on Sunday. Freezing rain setting up there just south of St. Louis, Missouri metro area. I'm not surprised to put the whole state underneath the state of emergency. The ice storm's really gonna fuck up, excuse my language, all of southern Missouri into southern Illinois. You can see the winds here gusting 29 to 30, 35 miles an hour. Look at the wind gusts there across portions of Missouri. You're gonna have near blizzard conditions and complete whiteout conditions underneath the snow. I mean, you're gonna have winds gusting, picking up sometimes Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening. Winds are gonna be gusting over 30, 25 miles an hour, 20 plus consistently, with winds gusting up to 40, 45 in some areas, maybe up to 50 miles an hour underneath the snow band. Now to the south of the snow band, winds may be gusting maybe 20 to 30, maybe 40 at times, but I'm really concerned about the snow band. We'll jump into those details here, but we're going to focus on this freezing rain line here because I'm really concerned about the freezing rain. So we're adding up the same time here. This is 18Z, which is about noon or 1 p.m. around the St. Louis metro area right here. So we got the freezing rain line coming in the peak time here. So we're going to go over here and go to precipitation type. So here's your freezing rain here, right here south of St. Louis metro. So you got the sleet mixing with some freezing rain there in the pink. The purple is your freezing rain here, right? So we add that up with the current temperature here. So we're going to go over here to surface temperature. Right, look at your surface temperature right here. This is the issue we're having here. Look at the surface temperature at the same time the freezing rain is falling, right? So if we go over here and zoom in to city, St. Louis, here's St. Louis. Here's the issue we're having here. The reason why I'm calling on this live weather update right now. See, the temperature is 26, 25 degrees. Look at the freezing rainfall in here, a couple counties south, right? It's still below 28 degrees. You only need temperatures to be 28 degrees or lower, or 29 degrees or lower. You're going to have a big time ice storm impact. Everything's going to instant freeze on the roadways. Don't even try traveling off the main highways and interstates, because you're going to get stranded. You're going to get screwed. You're going to end up going in a ditch. I know the terrain. I know how steep the hills are over here. As soon as you go into Missouri and you go off the interstate off of 44, you're going to go in a ditch. You guys don't understand. When the temperature is 29 degrees or lower and you have 26, 25, 24 degrees here, and you have freezing rain and sleet falling, that combination there with those low temperatures, everything's going to freeze on untreated roadways, and they're not going to have enough salt trucks to cover an entire portion of southern Missouri. Their main focus is going to be the main highways, the main interstates, and that's about it. I mean, and even those here to be completely iced over, you're going to have severe impacts. You're going to have several major interstates probably shut down on Sunday if this occurs, when temperatures in the mid 20s, right, with freezing rain falling, is going to be big time severe ice storm. I'm telling you, the only time that you might have better warming is when your temperatures are like 30 plus degrees, right? That's when ice becomes difficult to freeze on, waiting for the cooler air to arrive on the backs of the system. The cold air is already here. The cold air is already here. The system's moving west to east. This cold air is here to stay. Look at this. Cold air is just here to stay. And the temperatures, look at the temperatures. If there's nothing taken off the roadways, look at the temperatures coming into Monday night. Temperatures drop off into the single digits Monday night. If there's still any type of precipitation on the roadways, like the side roads that go into the mountain, the windy roads across the south side of St. Louis area, right? The windy roads, the any roads on the Illinois side, like closer to the Mississippi River, like any type of side road is going to be completely iced over, and you're not going to be able to make it down the road. Like, not even out of your driveway. These subdivisions out here, there just isn't enough snow plows to cover this system. You have over millions of people in winter storm warnings. You have millions of people going to be affected by the ice storm to the south. You have the winter storm weather to the north, and you got the severe weather to the south, right? There's going to be they got to choose. I mean, you're either taking on the winter side or you're taking on the ice storm side. You don't have enough snowplows to cover this event across southern Illinois. It just isn't there, especially when you go into southern Indiana or western Kentucky, southern Missouri. You just don't have enough salt trucks to cover this system. Your temperature spread here is just it's coming in at a really bad timing, but really cold temperatures here. I mean, starting Saturday night, the atmosphere is already setting itself up here. Saturday night, Sunday morning, you wake up. These temperatures, if your temperature in St. Louis metro area and the south side is already mid 20s when you wake up Sunday morning, you are screwed. You better get some salt. You better salt everything. Your driveway. You're not going to be able to get in and out of your subdivision. That's how bad it's going to be when this ice comes in and your temperatures are mid 20s. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. If you guys saw what happened in Nebraska, in Omaha, Nebraska, a month ago when I posted some videos of people sliding up and down their driveways, that was temperatures at 29 degrees. And it only lasted for a couple hours. Temperatures here are going to be 25 degrees with freezing rainfall. And it's going to be a disaster. You're going to have multi-car accidents every single path you go. It doesn't matter. And not to make it even worse is when the freezing rain stops, you're going to have snow on the backside with temperatures dropping with a wind of 40, 40, 50 gusts here out of the northeast. So any west to east road is going to have blown and drifted snow with the cool air going on those elevated surfaces with already freezing precipitation on there. They're going to be iced over. It's going to be iced, and the salt won't work as efficiently going into Monday night because the temperature is going to drop and plummet very, 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 very cold. So that's what I'm trying to get at here, is that the GFS, the HER model, and the NDFD forecast model all agree on the placement of the freezing rain and the snow potential. This is going to be a major disaster here across portions of southern Illinois, southern Indiana. I mean, this. I just don't. There's gonna be so many people that are gonna be on the roadway still, and this ice storm's gonna come in. You're gonna have a ton of stranded motorists. I mean, you can't drive anywhere if every single major side road off the interstate is iced. You won't be able to get up the ramps, down the ramps, off the loops. If they're not treated, you're screwed. So even going into the gas station is gonna be iced. I mean, you can walk up to the sidewalk to your house, so you're gonna be iced over, right? Um, I mean, it's just gonna be bad. This ice storm, it's gonna be really really bad. There's just not enough coverage on it. The GFS model here is not playing. Look at your temperature spread here. Look right here. Look at the lines. Here's St. Louis, right? Notice how the temperature Saturday night. Those temperatures never rise above mid to upper 20s, right? And look at the temperatures plummeting behind this. Look at this, guys. You're calling for a major disaster here. These temperatures never rise, and you have a warm nose coming perfectly in, overlapping these cold mid 20 temperatures here, going across southern Illinois, southern Missouri, Kentucky. Kentucky, I think you have a better chance here of having ice potential, but not as bad, because your temperatures start off maybe into the upper 20s, but they climb into the lower 30s right here across portions of Kentucky. So you're going to see eventually ice, right? But your temperatures climb there into the lower to mid 30s. What tells me there is that you don't have the full maximum potential of an ice storm there across Kentucky or the southern tip near Kentucky Indiana border as much as St. Louis or going into Mount Vernon, Illinois, or portions of Missouri. I mean, southern Missouri, southern Illinois, maybe southwest corner of Indiana, you're going to be completely screwed when this freezing rain comes in. I'm telling you, if temperatures do not rise into the lower to mid 30s, you are screwed wherever you're at in that area once this freezing rain starts, because those temperatures will be mid 20s already set up in that environment ahead of the system. It's cold. Once that freezing rain hits that contact, it is over. It's going to freeze unless somehow it's pawning or coming out too heavy and doesn't have a chance to freeze. But that's not even going to be the issue this time. It can come down as heavy as possible. It's an instant freeze on everything. I mean, you're going to see pictures all over social media blowing up of, ice accumulation up to an inch on the light pole or the tree, or everything is going to be frozen. And then you got to worry about power outages. When that ice accumulates on those trees and those power lines or anything electrical, the wind is going to come in Sunday night and blow everything down if it's iced like that, right? So trees, you could be talking about trees coming down, tree branches, widespread tree branches, power outages, especially widespread power outages across a lot of area across southern Illinois, southern Missouri is going to have a ton of power outages due to the combination between ice, freezing rain, and winds gusting over 40 miles an hour. It's just spelling disaster. I mean, this is all the ingredients for something worse to come out of this snow system is going like this, very slowly, and that's what we're looking at here. So I mean, this is just the GFS model alone, um, you know, and like I said, look at the look where the freezing rain there. See, right? We start out freezing rain Sunday, right? We don't see any rain mixing in into that environment, right? And tampering warm air. On the backside, snow comes in, right? That's more cold air arriving on the backside where freezing rain just fell in that area. That's just fuel to fire at this point. There's not enough plows or salt to cover this widespread snowstorm. I mean, they're probably yanking additional snow plows from other states or other different areas nearby just to cover for the area. I mean, you're going to have a ton of impacts here. If you don't have to travel across southern Illinois, southern Missouri, or southern Indiana on Sunday, just don't do it. It's not a good idea, especially people in Kansas on the backside of the system. I wouldn't be surprised if we see blizzard warnings issued maybe in a couple counties in northeast Kansas, because the winds are going to be really blowing out there, and it's going to be more of a fluffier snow starting and ending with the system out there. So I wouldn't be surprised you could see near blizzard or possible blizzard conditions out there. But let's go ahead and jump into the HER model now, since we already looked at the GFS. And I'm going to show you guys the comparison between the GFS and actual HER model on temperature gradient here and temperature spread. Let's go over here to temperature. Here's the HER model, right? Oh, did we switch? There we go. So let's go to HER model. Let's go 00Z HER model, right? It's on 19Z Sunday. So let's go 19Z on Sunday. See, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. Look at your temperature gradient line right there. See there's a slightly difference, right? In temperature gradient, there's maybe some more spreading of 30 temps trying to push up in there, right? But there's not much of a difference. This is the GFS model, right? 00Z. Here's the HER model 00Z. Really good agreement here between the GFS and the HER model here. Very similar to each other, right? So this is why I'm thinking that the GFS model's been the player key here, because it's been very consistent. But unlike the European model keeps jumping around, the Canadian keeps jumping around. The GFS, as soon as the 00Z HER model came out, I noticed something, that it completely agrees with the GFS model on intensity of the system, the cold air, the freeze and rain line setup, the heaviest of the snow accumulation of where it's happening. They all agree with each other. So here's the HER model, right? This isn't good. It's going to be bad. Your temperatures over the south side of St. Louis overspreading. Let's go over here to the, so I can show you guys more here, right? So I'm gonna take all this stuff off. I do that. We're gonna go to the models here. Let's go to HER. Let's go here. Let's go to temperature, right? And we're gonna go all the way out to, I think that hour is 40, what is it? 43. So we're gonna go out to 43. So here's 43. Look at your temperature spread here across all of St. Louis right here. This is at 1 p.m. on Sunday. No, is it? No, sorry. No, this is going to be, what the hell? Yeah, it's 1 p.m. on Sunday. 1 p.m. on Sunday. Look at your temperature gradient here. Well, look at the temperature spread here. Right there over St. Louis right there, picking up 24 degrees, right? You go about a couple counties south, you drop out to 32 degrees. If freezing rain is falling right here across this area right here, right? Effingham, down to West Frankfort, Illinois, Salem, east side of St. Louis, Missouri, going into the west side of St. Louis, Missouri, into O'Fallon and St. Charles area. This whole entire area here is going to be effective big time, especially across rush hour. It's only 1 p.m. Rush hour comes like around 4, 5, or 6 p.m. in St. Louis, Missouri area, or only earlier. You're going to have a ton of cars on a roadway when freezing rain's falling at mid 20 degrees. I mean, there's going to be so many, it's going to be gridlock. Don't even try to travel through St. Louis, Missouri. It's going to be gridlock. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. You can't drive on ice, guys. Like, all these people are going to try to drive. It's going to be really bad. Here's your freezing rain. So we're going to go over here. This is the HER model, right? That is just a mess. Look at that. Freezing rain comes in Sunday at 9Z. Sunday at 9Z, which is 3 a.m. in the morning on Sundays when freezing rain starts to come in. So this is before morning rush hour for St. Louis, Missouri, right? So we're going to go back here with the temperature gradient here at 3 a.m. in St. Louis, Missouri. And you tell me what you're seeing here, right? So hold on. So here's St. Louis, Missouri here at 3 a.m., right? That's 3 a.m. in the area right here, right? 3 a.m. It's 25 degrees. So we're going to backtrack this to 3 a.m. There's 3 a.m., right? Temperature is about 30 degrees to the south, but more cold air is arriving in, right? It's already 28 degrees. It's way more than enough for freezing rain to freeze on contact in the St. Louis metro area. Now we switch this over to um, temp precipitation type. There's your freezing rain coming in at 3 a.m. in the morning. It's already coming in at 3 a.m. in the morning. There's more freezing rain, sleet mixing in. This is all coming in at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now it's 7 a.m. in the morning. Look at those same areas that I was just showing here. This area is now mixing in with some snow, freezing rain, mixed precipitation here across the St. Louis metro area. So you're talking about complete gridlock here across portions of the St. Louis, Missouri area. And that doesn't even talk about the rest of the state. I'm just focused on St. Louis, Missouri right now because it is the most populated area between this winter storm and winter mess that's going to be involving Sunday morning to Sunday all day. It's going to be really bad, right? So this is not even the worst of it, right? We're going through the day. Let's speed this up now. We're going to go to 11 a.m. on Sunday. Here's noon. It is still freezing rain, sleet, maybe some little bit of snow mixing in, but look at this large portion here. That's bad. That's really bad. So we're gonna go ahead and switch this over to the freezing rain. How much freezing rain is already fallen? What is this? So the most of the freezing rain is falling to the south on the HER model, right? Which is good. But there's still some freezing rain falling over here on the south side of St. Louis metro area that's accumulating maybe to half of a tenth to a tenth of an inch of icing. So we go throughout the day, cold air is still here. Ice accumulation still is building. The HER model keeps it south outside of the St. Louis metro area, but there is still some accumulation on the south side of St. Louis metro where it's picking up some decent freezing rain. And you only need a tenth of an inch to fall freezing rain with temperatures in the mid-20s. It's going to instantly freeze. Look at the freezing rain down here across a large portion here going into southern Indiana, portions of Kentucky picking up anywhere between a quarter inch to a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch. So this is just obviously the HER model. GFS model shows something else. So here's the GFS model. Here's 00Z update. We're gonna go. Here's the total accumulation on the GFS for freezing rain. Notice how it's outside of the St. Louis metro area, which is good. But when you cross into the Illinois side, here's your mid-25 temperatures are, right? So southern Illinois here is getting really slammed here with freezing rain with the combination of strong winds and cold. So my biggest problem for across southern Illinois now that we're focusing on Illinois here is going to be your freezing rain here that sets up along the 64 corridor, going into Mount Vernon and then into Evansville, Indiana. This road right here is going to be severely impacted by freezing rain. I doubt you not this road will shut down on Sunday night. If this verifies, this road will not be operated. You'll have so many accidents on this roadway with the temperature and how much freezing rain is going to be falling. You're talking about a quarter to a half an inch, maybe up to 3/4 of an inch of freezing rain there across southern Illinois. So that's what I'm worried about here. You got this whole portion here of freezing rain here across many states, but I'm really worried where the temperatures are in the mid-20s, right? I'm going to circle where the mid-20 temperatures are going to be. Something like this. So the whole 64 corridor, I'm really concerned about going in from St. Louis to Mount Vernon into Louisville, north of Evansville, right? The 64 corridor with a north wind, with how cold the temperatures are going to be, with freezing rain falling, and not being interrupted by warmer temperatures, 64 is going to be your worst possible commute across Indiana into Louisville or even back to St. Louis. The freezing rain is going to be falling. There's going to be a ton of accidents on 64. Just avoid 64 on Sunday. I'm letting you guys know that right now. So I'm going to jump off the topic about the freezing rain now and focus on the snow. I'm just letting you guys know the ice storm potential across southern Illinois with the freezing rain line and where the temperature gradient is setting up. I mean, you just don't want it. You don't want the beef. So we're gonna go ahead and go. This is when the freezing rain's falling, right? We're gonna go over to the temperature gradient. Notice how those temperatures right there where the freezing rain's falling is 29, 28 degrees, 26, 25. Look at that. That's bad. So I'm like, that's all of this area right here. That's what the GFS model's showing. And that's where freezing rain is accumulating, and you have temperatures in the mid-20s, right? So it's going to be incredibly bad across that area. But now let's focus on the winter storm potential and our snow side. So we're going to go back and check out our snow side. So this is the HER model, right? It shows the snow here coming in. Well, you got freezing rain there starting around the Kansas City metro area. Freezing rain initially coming in from the south, spreading into portions of southern Iowa, portions of central northern Missouri, and then Kansas probably Saturday morning into Saturday evening, right? Our first snow initial wave probably starts arriving into the Illinois-Missouri border across northern Missouri around closer to midnight or 10 p.m. on Saturday, all right? So it's starting to spread in there. Now we're going into the early morning hours now on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. You can see there's a very heavy precipitation of moisture feeding north, and it's transitioning into this very heavy snow that's probably dumping 1 to 2 inch an hour snowfall rates right there over that transition line. As you go further north, you'll go into more of a fluffier snow, where snow is going to be significantly blown and drifting around. But this pink, this purple is mixed sleet and freezing rain is where you have your significant icing issue. And now we're going into Sunday afternoon, Sunday at 1 p.m. This band of snow is very, very heavy there across that corridor. That's probably going to be targeting the, let's see here, the 72 corridor between Hannibal, Missouri, into Jacksonville, Illinois, into Springfield, Decatur, into Tuscola, Illinois, and into Urbana, Champaign area. Those areas are going to be affected big time by some blowing and drifting snow. Of course, significant blowing and drifting snow with a north wind or winds out of northeast or north. Winds will be gusting up to 40 to 50 mile gusts in open areas possibly, leading into Sunday evening, Sunday overnight, leading to whiteout conditions in some open areas. So those west-east roads are going to be very, very bad, especially on the side roads here. Have significant blowing and drifting and whiteout conditions on west to east roads going into Sunday afternoon and evening. So if you look at the wind gusts here overlapping, this is about 1 p.m. on Sunday. Let's check out where our winds are at this point. So let's go back here. We're going to go ahead and zoom out here. Let's go over here. Let's go to Illinois. Let's go over here to wind gust. Surface. Let's go over here to surface winds. And we're going to line this up at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Oh, I'm on the GFS model still. Oops. So let's go 1 p.m. at Sunday. Here's 1 p.m. at Sunday. You see our winds right there south of the meso-banding to the north is about 40 gusts there, right? So you got the banding right there. You got our wind gusts right there. So our winds are going to start increasing going into Sunday evening, Sunday night. This is about Sunday at 5 p.m. Sunday at 5 p.m. Most of the state of central and southern Illinois is experiencing winds gusting over 40 to 45 miles an hour in some open areas, especially in the Illinois side. Now, if we go to 5 p.m., where the snow's falling in Illinois, still a large portion. The low is still over here in southwest Missouri near Joplin and Springfield, Missouri. Look at the large banding here overlapping with how strong the winds are and where the icing is still falling. 64 is going to be a horrible commute. If you have winds gusting at 45, all elevated surfaces with that cold temperature, it's going to be a real feel of like down to the teens, like almost single-digit wind chills with this wind blowing and how cold it's going to be the actual temperature. That's why I'm saying is that the southern Illinois is not getting enough attention for this ice storm coming up on Sunday. It's going to be bad. But the winds overlapping here with how much snow is going to be falling here. This is the farthest that her model go out is 6 p.m. on Sunday. So we go max here. It shows winds starting to peak out now across portions of southern Illinois, showing max winds across this area 54 miles an hour wind gust there. That's what the HER model is showing currently. And that's right there, punching in right there. Maybe a little bit of dry air trying to punch in there a little bit. Dry air punch, I'm not sure. But I mean, you're still talking about icing, mixing still falling, and significant snow happening to the north. So even if it's light snow or moderate snow and you already have snow on the ground, it's going to be blown around and causing very low visibility to near whiteout conditions or near blizzard conditions or ground blizzard conditions. That's going to be bad. But look here, here's your temperature at the time that the snow's falling. That's going to be a very fluffy snow because right there where the heaviest snow's falling, your temperatures are in the lower 20s, right? But that's not what makes for the fluffier snow. If we go to the upper air temperature and we go 850 millibar temps, look at your 850 millibar temp difference right there, just north of the line. That's calling for a very, very fluffy snow, which is going to add for more accumulation of snow, where we could be talking about double-digit snowfall totals leading to almost maybe closer to almost 2 feet. So I'm thinking when I post these snowfall totals tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, I'll have them out. I'll have a snowfall forecast map and an icing forecast map across all of this area here, across this region area. So I'll be thinking very hard what I'm going to put out there, but I mean, you're going to have a very fluffy snow ratio with this 850 millibar temp and upper levels, cold, really cold air kind of overlapping and coming in, just not the surface temperatures. So, I mean, you're going to have significant blowing and drifting snow. That's why I said I'm not surprised there won't be blizzard warnings out in northeast Kansas. I don't know for sure where else there might be blizzard warnings, but like I said, the models are all over the place, and that's why I think the GFS and the HER model and DFD forecast model have that similarity on where the best placement of the freezing rain's going to be happening, where the snow's going to be happening, where the temperature gradient's at currently, and what's going to be happening with that. I think the GFS and the HER model have a really good handle on this system, and we'll just find out when we go in tomorrow. But I mean, the HER model is really painting an ugly picture here of wind gusts combining with the temperature, combining with the freezing rain and snowfall at the same time. It's going to be bad. Look here, wind gusts on the east side of St. Louis metro area. So we go over to the HER. We go over here to surface winds. Where is it? I don't think I have surface wind gusts here. No, I don't. But I do have. Nope, it doesn't even show that. Okay. Well, oh well to that. But that's what it's showing there for surface wind gusts. They're overlapping. And then you got the precipitation here falling with some snow, some sleet, freezing rain. I mean, you're just calling for a headache at this point. But what are we talking about? Accumulations here between the GFS European model before we get off here. Let's go over here and see what the HER model is showing for accumulation. So the HER model isn't even fully done with the snow system yet, and it's already showing by Sunday night at 6 p.m. with snow still coming in. It's showing over a foot of snow across a large portion of southern Illinois, a really thin line cutting off there going into Indiana and Missouri. So all said and done, we can be talking totals between 1 and 2 feet in some areas based on the HER and the GFS. Here's the GFS model. I mean, here's the GFS model. And this is when the GFS model is fully done. So you can see that there's a similarity between the GFS and the GFS and the HER model showing where the snow line is setting up at and where the heaviest is happening, right? So we could be talking totals between 1 and 2 feet, right, within the heaviest of the mesos banding. And obviously we still have this snow band here we got to focus on here going into the Cook County area, Chicagoland area, because you're going to be seeing lake effect snow Sunday night into Monday. Probably some very heavy lake effect snow near the lake shore, probably 1 to 2 inch an hour snowfall rates, and several inches of lake effect snow is possible. And then that'll swing into northwest Indiana Monday night. Monday afternoon and then ending Monday night. Here's the NDFD forecast model. See, it shows very similar where the main banding's going to set up, right? and see the DFD forecast models picking up on that heavy lake effect snow band there going into Cook County there. So you can see it's picking up right there. But between the GFS here, the GFS, the HER, and the DFD forecast model all shows the areas of where the heaviest snow is going to be falling. So I'm leaning towards the HER model. It does show worst case scenario like GFS, but I mean, with how much precipitation is coming up, with how cold the upper levels are, and how fluffy the snow ratio is going to be, and how the other models aren't picking it up very well, I am leaning towards the GFS and the HER model and how much snow accumulation could fall, and also how much freezing rain's going to fall. So I'll be coming out with my forecast tomorrow. It's late at night tonight, but other than that, stay tuned and be safe. I will be live streaming out there starting Sunday all day. Might even start it Saturday late night, but probably not. Probably start it Sunday morning throughout all of day Sunday. We'll be covering live coverage down there across southern Illinois. Still don't know if we're going to be covering the ice storm or the snowstorm yet. Maybe we'll be covering both. It'll all depend. And be safe, stay tuned, and like I said, just avoid the roadways I did mention, because like I said, it's gonna be very bad. Bring a shovel if you are. Bring some salt. That's all I'm telling you, because you're gonna get stranded out there on those roadways. Be safe, and talk to you guys soon.